Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 between this matchup of the Raidcall Dota League between Team Liquid and No Tidehunter. No Tidehunter taking game 1 in rather solid fashion. They used their Barrier pick to great effect and overall played pretty solid. Meanwhile, Liquid, it felt like their picks got exploited quite a bit. So what do you think going into this game?
Game one, it was picks, it was also plays, but, it's a game behind. Team Liquid, they're definitely been in this situation before, and I don't think they're too phased. And they open up the second game with the draft that a lot of teams would be very, very happy about picking up Keeper of the Light first. And I know these games are a little bit old, but, I got a reference to the IG versus LGD Int. Keeper was a hero that's just absolutely brutal in a lot of games. He does quite a bit, and I'm sure we
By
have
brutal, you mean absolutely broken.
broken is one way to call it as well. I know you don't like this hero at all, B-Bowling, so, we're going to see it for at least, I think, a couple more months, unless he's getting nerfed.
Well, hopefully there will be a patch coming soon, but I mean, I don't know, because, if there is a patch, I imagine they'd do it right after G League. But anyway, there's a big tournament happening in China relatively soon, the huge league, the Gamefly, or whatever. But anyway, it's going to be No Tidehunter picking up Darks here, since Bulldog's pet hero was already banned out, and No Tidehunter, we'll see if they decide to respond with something else like a, who else is still at the pool? I guess Nature Swap if they want to go for split push. Although usually that early wouldn't be too good of an idea. Or maybe a loaded pick. Right now anything is in the cards. But usually in the first phase you want to pick up one of your supports, and there is the Shadow Demon.
Yep, Shadow Demon is a very, very decent pick, especially against some of the heroes that's currently very trendy, like the Lifestealer. Offensively and defensively, he's just absolutely great. And of course, if you're afraid of a PL, well, late game, very, very late game, you can always disrupt the PL illusions and, create your own army.
Yeah, this opening 2 pickup, man, if you get Phantom Answer Illusion on your side, you could have up to, God,
A bunch.
16 illusions, I do believe, if I
Something
am
like
not
that.
mistaken. But anyway, Liquid, they have Keeper of the Light. We'll see if they pick up a Bulba here, like Clockwork, because they actually place Clockwork in very high priority. If you've ever seen Bulba's Clockwork, it is a spectacle. It is no joke. But Liquid, again, one of their trademarks is being very versatile. They like to pick Visage, they like to pick Rubik, they like to pick a bunch of different heroes. So, I mean, whatever they feel like, they have the options to going for. But keep in mind, No Tidehunter already up 1-0. And if No Tidehunter win the series, they're still in the playoff hunt. And if No Tidehunter lose the series, they are not. So keep in mind, No Tidehunter are playing with some desperation on their side, which Liquid may not have that on their side, because I don't think if they lose the series, they'll be out of the playoff picture altogether.
But still, they're obviously wanting to win the series, obviously, and they're going to go with Gyrocopter, which I feel like this is more of a Liquid hero. They do a lot of stuff that like to exploit this, such as using a neutral creep to stack your Ancients, or stack your jungles and Ancients, and farm all over the place with it. Obviously, he's also very good against Phantom Lancers and other late game carries that is very trendy nowadays. So I feel like, yeah, it's a very, very good pickup. He's a hero that can go mid, can be played as a support, but most likely will be played as a carry because one of the best mid hero right now, Puck, is already picked up, and we will see Korok playing that one.
Yeah, Korok usually plays a Gyrocopter on Team Liquid, but since he is the only Puck player to my knowledge, unless they play off-lane Puck with Bulba, which I've seen once or twice, even mid-solo Puck with Bulba once or twice, but Korok has really taken a name to himself as perhaps the best Puck player in North America. Would that be too difficult to say? Maybe Fogged could give him some contention, but still.
No, for sure, hands down Korok, best Puck in North
I
America.
don't know, have you ever seen Fogg's Puck? It is ridiculously good.
I have seen Fox Puck, and despite that, Korok's Puck is just above
Yo,
and beyond. At
Liquid
least that's my
fanboyism
personal.
coming in.
Not fanboy. I'm fanboy of Team Liquid, not fanboy of Korok specifically, though.
That's fair, that's fair. But also, keep in mind, No Tidehunter would most likely ban out a bunch of Korok heroes, so it's better to pick up a Korok hero that can make a huge impact right in the first phase before No Tidehunter can get their greedy little paws on all of those banned heroes. But No Tidehunter gonna pick up Chen, Aki's Chen. Will we see a Roshan snipe? I'm sure Liquid will never let that happen again. But Chen, he's an interesting hero because if he doesn't get his early game going, he really just falls off the face of the earth. And they already have a Shadow Demon on their side who does see out to the late game, but right now they have their early game secured, but it's not really the most potent pushing early game where Chen really likes to shine.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for a couple of things coming up from the next phase of the draft. I'm looking towards No Tidehunter banning out Clockwork, simply because there's so much synergy, and it's so actually difficult to push in against both Illuminate and Rocket Barrage. It's just a nightmare. Also, right now, the team fight of Team Liquid is fairly respectable. Dream Coil plus a Blinding Light is definitely a combo, if you will. We'll see more and more teams utilizing that, and when you throw a call down on top of that, that's a lot of AoE stunning as well as damage output. And lastly, I feel like Chen is just an immobile hero. His army can't be teleported around like he can with a TP scroll. So Team Liquid could definitely prioritize and kind of pick this Chen apart by picking up a lot of mobile and global pushers. Gyrocopter with the Shadow Blade could be pushing on one side of the map, and if you have something like a Nature's Prophet, which by the way Boba plays very well, with maybe a Shadow Blade as well, you could pushing multiple sides of the map, and it's so hard if you're playing Shadow Demon and Chen as your two support. They're just so slow, they're so immobile, and they're not exactly good defending against pushes. So I think Team Liquid has that opening to do split push if that's what they want to consider.
Yeah, and also Chen now is immobile, but like you sort of mentioned in passing, how are you going to push against Liquid? They have
Yeah.
Illusory Orb, they have Illuminate, they have Flat Cannon. I mean, so far No Time to have two strong early game heroes, and Shoudian does scale well. Darkseer, of course, scales well to all facets of the game. But No Time to might have to play a bit more sort of defensive with their last two picks. Otherwise, I don't see them winning the early game whatsoever with Keeper Light and Puck on the opposing side, especially a Korok Puck, who will be guaranteed to have an enormous impact. But right now, Liquid gonna ban S4, one of S4's trademark heroes in the form of Night Stalker, and banning out Anti-Phage for Loda, who did have a solid split pushing impact in game one. So seems to make a lot of sense thus far. But I mean, No Time to. I think they're sort of picking themselves into a bit of a hole at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, generally you want to pick up supports first to leave your carries, a little bit. I don't want to say unpredictable. I guess that's the word.
Yeah,
But
but
nowadays,
usually, just sorry to cut you off, but usually you pick up your secondary for support in the second phase. That's usually
yes,
what I see in these teams.
yeah, but the drafts have been so good, at least from the very high level play, that even by seeing your two supports, they could kind of tell what you want to do in terms of your play style, and in turns guess your carry. So Team Liquid banning out a lot of the more mobile carries, if you will, or mobile hero period, to really shut down on No Time Hunter's mobility. Again, Team Liquid is down by one game, so they gotta win this one to even the series. And again, No Time Hunter, this is a very important series for them. If they're out, or if they lose this, they are out of the tournament.
That is correct, and after 10 weeks of playing in a league, not seeing any of that prize money come into fruition is going to be very, very annoying. Of course, No Tanter doing quite well in Star Ladder. I know they're doing well in EMS, so I'm sure they'll be able to shrug it off. But still, I mean, you've invested a lot of time into this tournament, and they want to see their fruits come, or see their play come to fruition, so to speak. But Liquid, they're going to take a bit of time thinking about their last band. They know that No Tanter are going to be pinned a bit into a sort of a desperate situation with their last two picks, so they got to really make this band count to really limit No Tanter's options. I think something like another hard carry that Loda could favor, maybe something like a Void, which Loda does like to pick from time to time. No, they're going to have Bounty Hunter. I don't know. I guess they fear the track gold, and that's really going to give you a lot of bulk to sort of push into a Keeper Light and Puck lane. But Bulldog's already going to be playing the Darkster most likely.
Yeah. I think that's more or less respecting the laning power of Darkseer, because he doesn't actually have to go off lane. You can actually put him mid. S4 is definitely a great Darkseer player as well, and Bulldog could definitely run the bounty if that's what S4 wants to pick up. But I think Darkseer is again, it makes sense. The ban is not like questionable, but still, I'm not sure why they're going to be banning out. Maybe the next two picks is going to
Well,
be.
also, I just realized Team Liquid, they're all squishy as heck.
Sure, that's fair. Although again, I mean, Bounty Hunter, not exactly the most insane hero, especially the way that Team Liquid were playing it. So Nature's Prophet didn't get picked up. No surprise there. We talked about how the two supports on the No Tai side is very, very slow, very immobile. So the global pushing from all angles, if you will, is going to be coming in. We're probably going to see a Midas into a Blowdar's Edge or Shadow Blade from Nature's Prophet. And Korok obviously could be going the Gyrocopter Shadow Blade as well. But lately he's been actually opting for different of a build. Sometimes he
Well,
goes
Kroc's
BKB.
probably going to be playing the Puck, right? So,
Oh, sorry, not Korok. I mean TC. Yeah, he's
I see.
opting for things like Helm of the Dominator builds for stacking ancient, stacking neutral. So we'll see what build he's going to be going for.
yeah, and again, once this mid-game lineup gets going, I mean, your creep waves will constantly push. No time, they're going to pick the Lifestealer. Lifestealer, pretty strong hero, especially against Puck. Gyrocopter does do quite well, but he's not really the best in terms of character. He's a split pusher. But usually when we see Lifesteal these days, we see him paired with an initiator, whether it be Nature's Prophet to teleport in. Storm Spirit has really been making comebacks solely on the back of Lifesteal becoming very, very hot, very, very trendy, which he's always sort of been. But Storm Spirit really sort of brings Lifesteal to the front of the meta. So perhaps could be paving the way towards the Storm Spirit pickup by Tidehunter, because keep in mind, they don't really have a trademark mid-solo hero thus far for S4.
I mean, S4 is just, jack of all trades, it feels like. And here we go, we're going to see Team Liquid's Fluff and Stuff Enchantress. So a lot of farming, a lot of rising on, and multiple Scythe of Ice hero is already online. Puck, Nature's Prophet, as well as Enchantress really get their farm going. Obviously, Scythe of Ice and, of course, Orchid is a possibility, as well as Team Liquid does love their Orchid, especially against heroes like Lifestealer. There's a Storm Spirit you're predicting, and I think this has to be one of the most perfect pickup for them because they simply don't have lockdown power, it feels like. There is a Purge, which comes in from a pretty decent range from the Shadow Demon, but aside from that, they don't have a way to lock down, let's say, on Gyrocopter and go in. But Storm Spirit not only gives you that lockdown, not only does he give you the initiation, he also helps Lifestealer to initiate alongside with them. So I love this pickup here, and let's see how S4 is going to be playing in mid. I assume he's going to be going mid, and in terms of the matchup against Puck, I think Storm loses that matchup pretty much all the time.
It depends who gets pulled harder.
I mean, if nobody gets pulled, assuming, all else equal.
Korok should have the advantage because of the range, and also because he has, a bit more nuking power. But anyway, the Storm Spirit, like you mentioned, also very solid in terms of initiating, but also puts fear into Bulba's heart. Bulba, known to play very, very aggressive, but he might, if he's ever sort of caught out of position, he will get jumped on by S4 and Loda. But right now we're just waiting for the pick stand. Again, the X factor in this game, I feel like, is Chen, because Storm Spirit and Lifesteal are a very mobile combination. And, like you mentioned, Darkseer very mobile. EGM can teleport around with that Shouting, but Chen, he's just sort of left out in the dark, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, him and his army of creeps is going to be left out in the dark. But I guess a little bit of synergy here for the Dire side is that Chen could always provide free healing for Loda during the middle of team fight. That's not irrelevant. Like, just getting a free fresh life. Not many heroes. That's like a free cheese, if you will. Very, very important for team fight. But let's quickly introduce the players here on the Radiant side. Fluff and Stuff is going to be playing that Enchantress. Very, very standard item choice here. Has us that Smoke of Deceit for that one gank that he will be doing. Korok going mid. Just no pull. Straight up, he's bought all the item himself. Normally, you see solo mid saving for a quick bottle. He's not going to be doing that. Boba going to be going off lane with these Nature's Prophet. Hopefully he's going to get that 1v1 matchup. If not, he's not going to get any farm. IX Mike going to be playing the support. Look at his... He's very, very poor. He does have 100 gold in the bank, though. And TC, looks like he was pulled a Tango. And we'll be playing the Gyrocopter on the bot lane.
Meanwhile, on the side, no Tidehunter, S4 not being pulled either, as he has a pretty standard set of items. I don't know if this is actually gives you 100 gold to spare. My calculations might be a bit off.
It does.
It does. Okay. Just making sure. Aki is going to be handling that Chen with his Smoke and Sea as well, mirroring Fluff for the most part. Loda is going to be handling the Lifesteal. EGM is going to be playing the Shouting. Again, similar items as IX Mike, and Darkseer is going to be handled by Admiral Bulldog. So overall, the trend in this game is probably going to be set on how well Darkseer does, and also the mid lane, like you mentioned earlier. Because if Korok manages to get a really fast dagger, then no Tidehunter. I mean, you can pin Lifesteal in place and just sort of run around him in circles. Darkseer as well, and Storm Spirit, even if he jumps out, he will just get silenced if he gets initiated on by the Puck with a fast blink dagger. He can be pretty paper.
Yep. So judging how the lanes are going right now here, obviously Nature's Prophet is going to lose that top lane. He can't even solo 1v1 against the Lifestealer. Immediate pull attempt coming from the Treants, and that's going to allow him to get some EXP in front of his tower. But yeah, look at exactly what Loda's doing. He's actually pulling the creep wave towards it to make sure that the pull never actually works out. A little bit of blocking attempt here by Boba to block off the pull count. Very good job. So he's losing that lane. Meanwhile, Darkseer against the bot lane, he should be okay, he being the Darkseer. But with that said, Gyrocopter can easily kill this lane as well. Flat Cannon is going to be his skill of choice. And again, we're going to see Fluff and Stuff jungling it up, as well as IX Mike pulling this, stacking the level 1 camp, but we'll be illuminating for a lot of gold in EXP.
Yeah, so far, Admiral Bulldog, you can see he's playing very scared because he doesn't actually have vision on where IX Mike and Fluff are. If Fluff has a troll in his hands, if IX Mike manages to sort of get a really nice position with the Illuminate, then Admiral Bulldog will just be dead. That's why he has not poked his head out towards the lane. As speak of the devil, we're going to see Fluff come around with the smoke gank, and S4 might be in for a world of hurt. Does he have a troll creep? No, he just has 2 melee creeps, so it might be a bit more difficult, but S4 does not have the best range. Here comes the clap. It does not go off as the creep did manage to die. Here comes IX Mike with the Illuminate. It whiffs as well. A little miscommunication by Team Liquid. Will they still manage to get the kill? Croc taking so much damage himself is going to cancel, and Fluff does manage to get the last hit. That Centaur smelled that blood and went on its prey, but still a little bit miscommunication, but it doesn't matter. They got the kill, and Korok will have his spell up relatively soon.
I'm not sure if he showed it on camera, but there was one very, very important movement that was done by the Pug player. Normally, when you're getting ganked there by the bot lane as a solo mid storm like that, your instinct is to run up north, run up to the, away from the tower and run the other way because, they can't actually dive past the tower like that as the creep, we saw die. But what Pug did was basically come in from that particular direction instead of coming in from the mid lane. So S4 was basically pincered and, well, very, very good gank, despite actually, messing up some micro, which is pretty rare for Fluff and stuff. But yeah, first blood still went to them, so they're happy.
Yeah, I imagine Fluff was a little bit surprised that his creep actually died to the tower before it could actually get the clap off. But still, nice recovery. They got the first blood. Unfortunately, that is going to allow Bulldog to get a bit more experience, but Bulba is getting some experience on his own part. Meanwhile, Loda going to benefit greatly from this stack of neutrals. So far, Liquid definitely going to benefit from the first blood as Korok is going to initiate onto Aki. He actually orbs in. Aki going to man it out versus Korok as Korok should win this man fight exchange, but he's wasting a lot of time. Here comes the invisibility rune. It's going to be bottled up. Aki's trying to run away fast as his mount can scurry away as here comes the defensive disruption, or the offensive disruption. Korok is going to get soul catcher, but EGM placed himself in a very awkward scenario. EGM pops the salve for that little bit of extra oomph in terms of regen, and that is going to save his life. And meanwhile, S4 rotating around to try to help his allies. I think if he was just farming mid, he could have gotten so much more comps, but as it is, helped ensure the safety of his allies. But Korok didn't really lose that much, as Shouty just going to decide to end it all, saying life is too hard, and actually going to give himself a free trip to the Fallon.
Yeah, really, really great play here on both sides here. I love that last ache of South. Sometimes you even think to yourself, is that even worth it? But obviously, you don't want to give the solo mid of the enemy team any kills. So Korok could have stayed for the kill, obviously, but he would probably die in return. I do completely agree with your choice of S4, though. I think he should have just farmed mid. He doesn't have, again, the laning advantage like we talked about earlier as a Storm Spirit, and it's so vital for him to hit 6 as soon as possible. Let's not forget about the death, and it looks like we're going to see another gank attempt. There is going to be Illuminating. That's going to miss, but the Tornado as well as Enchant. A lot of slow, and looks like S4 knows he's going to be dying, so he's going to try to fight his way out, but again, unfortunately, unable to do so. He needs as much EXP as possible, and that's why I disagree with his decision deciding to go off the lane and try to help out his teammates.
Yeah, actually, if you looked at it sort of overall, Korok didn't pick up the first blood prior to that engagement. He picked up this kill, and actually S4 was out CSing Korok. Of course, Korok would be winning in terms of experience, which is what really matters in this lane. Storm Spirit needs experience like very few other heroes in the game. Otherwise, he will just lose a lot of momentum because heroes will start tanking up. There will be more money for TPs and just countering the Storm, as there will be a push attempt coming in on the top lane. What sort of creep does Aki have? He's actually smoked up, as this is not a very solid gank whatsoever. EGM trying to get in place with that disruption. Unfortunately, it is not going to come to fruition right here as the skeletons are going to be summoned. They should be able to take this tower with the skeletons and the Siege Dragon. Skeletons so good. And the Treants, can they get the pull off? They're going to open wounds. A Treant, completely worth it in order to help try to bring down this tower. And Bulba going to be thwarted in his attempt to save it, but no, more Treants are on the way as Bulba trying to do whatever he can to help save this tower. And the question is whether it will be successful. The creeps should get pulled. 2 melee creeps, so not the worst exchange for NTH, as this tower should be brought down. No, NTH can retreat. So Bulba doing his job with the help of IX Mike in the rear.
Yeah, they saw IX Mike coming in and they realized they would not be able to push it down, so they backed off. Meanwhile, teleportation goes in the middle here. S4 is fighting against Korok. Korok gets pulled right now, but here comes Bulba. A couple more right clicks. The thing is, S4 so tanky, drops the orb, comes around the other way. Tower not changing focus. A tower, I'm sure S4 is cursing his towers, like, why are you no focus? The very, very low Korok. Korok now in a little bit of trouble as well, but he's Pug, so he should be fine. He has orb, he has phase. He will make it out very, very easily as he showcased there.
Meanwhile, Fluff creeps in the way, or yeah, those were Fluff creeps, just providing a bit of extra distraction, saying, Aki, I have shockwaves too, what are you going to do? Meanwhile, Aki's just like, Fluff, please, you did not see my shockwave in game 1. But anyway, mid lane engagement, Storm Spirit still yet to hit level 6. Meanwhile, Korok level 7. He is doing remarkably well. Artifish, pretty much his core items, no, one, and the bottles. So could pick up treads, but most likely will rush that dagger. And S4, again, despite out CSing Korok for the most part, is really not having a similar impact. And this is sort of the problem with Storm. He does get beaten pretty hard in the mid lane if he does get ganked. And unfortunately, I forgot to see the wards as they did just time out, but there are actually no wards on the map. So I guess we're going to see if No Time they're going to try to ward up to defend S4, or they're going to try to ward up to sort of get the ganks going, as TC is farming pretty much uninterrupted in that bot lane, and we'll have that shadow lit up in about 1240 gold.
Yeah, I feel like S4 is fine, even the fact that he doesn't have ward. And Enchantress ganks would not be as dangerous as they were before, simply because he has level 6. Sure, there's Raining Whiff on the other side, but S4's got to mess up pretty bad if Puck could get that kind of positioning on him. As I say that, though, those orbs could always provide that initiation. So if you're S4, you got to be somewhat careful. Also, on that push up top here, if you guys are wondering why would Lona ever open moves and creeps, he's trying to prevent the train from pulling the creep away towards Boba, and then Boba would not only protect his tower, but get a lot of EXP under jungle. You can see Boba being forced away, trying to get that level 6 at the jungle, and he will find it, but his towers and probably going to get forfeited as a response. There is a siege unit being built up here by No Tide, and I do believe that, without Glyph, tower's going to go down for sure.
Most definitely, as Fluff not going the standard Fluff Enchantress build, which is just a farm, but this really indicates what kind of style Fluff is aiming for. He picks up the urn, pretty, not an uncommon item on Enchantress, but usually sometimes from Fluff Enchantress you do see that mice just to go for all-out DPS, but seeking that urn, means that he wants to play a bit more support capacity, help out Mike with the wards, and also try to gank a lot, as the extra HP will definitely not be unnoticed in these early game ganks, as Loda trying to provide a bit more pressure on that top lane. 47 and 12 is his CS, so he is farming quite admirably, but unfortunately Bulba is level 6. Meanwhile, Bulldog, how is he faring? He's level 6 as well, and meanwhile, as I say that, TC just cleans him up before Bulldog could even pop a surge.
Yeah, you cannot underestimate the damage output of a rocket barrage, and that's only a level 2 rocket barrage. Obviously, the flat cannon is constantly chipping you away in the lane itself, so it's not surprising to see TC actually getting killed there, but, Bulldog should not have actually gave away the kill. You should never actually die in this 1v1 engagement. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, though, Korok, like you said, he's getting out CS by S4 a bit, which is a big issue considering the fact that Puck should be winning the lane. But more importantly, he needs that blink as soon as possible, because without the blink, you should never really get a kill against S4. And more importantly, against like the Lifestealer and whatnot. But he's getting close. He actually did offer the treads. I think I would have agreed with you in saying that maybe he should have just rushed it, but perhaps stats is a little bit more important to him. Or in fact,
well, you know me, I like to play as greedily as possible, so screw other core items, no matter how good they may be. Just go all out, get the core items later. As S4 going to initiate, Korok easily able to escape. S4 clearly not willing to jump into the range of tower where TP ganks would most likely be incoming. As EGM going to roam in, EGM only level 4, checking out the levels. IX Mike and EGM are even in terms of levels, but you can see Chen only level 5, and so far it seems that Dire are really suffering in terms of experience, as again, Chen not really having too big an impact, and I don't really expect him to have too big an impact in this game.
Raining Rift after Orb coming in. He saw the Shadow Demon, and it's back time to go out here. And Korok getting a lot of mana in return. You can see that he's actually tread toggling in between those Chakra Magic to make sure he get the maximum mana. So just both teams playing rather well with just small mechanic stuff like this. But again, Korok, he's able to really just orb away the lane because again he has a regen rune in Spotto, so he should be fine. And S4's been moving in the jungle all day. I guess he's trying to get some neutrals. No, he's back to base for now.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, he might have been able to ask Aki for a ride back home. That's another bit of inbuilt synergy right there. Send Storm back home after a successful gank or an unsuccessful gank. But meanwhile, Bulldog has a missile on him. Is Fluff's creep enough to get that in position? No, Surge is just too good, as a massive amount of teleports are in place for the bottom lane. Loda is going to initiate with the open wounds. Fluff, can he pop the heal? He does pop the heal, but S4 is in position as well. Fluff will get bursted down with the help of Infest as well. Better be safe than sorry. It's not like you're going to be using Infest for too many early game ganks. Well, you could with the S4 being level 6, but now this could queue up the beginnings of a mid or a bottom lane push. Keeper Light is not in position. Meanwhile, Bulba just going to try to farm up Aggie, trying to get some experience on the middle lane. But no, TC should be enough to hold down this tower, since it seems like No Time are backing off. But as soon as I say that, S4 is rolling back around, has the strength treads back up, has enough mana, can bottle back up with those agility treads, and TC might be in for a bit of a sticky situation. He has a Shadow Blade.
He has Shadow Blade, and there's no detection, so that's a big item pickup here. Hand of God comes in the middle lane as the engagement is happening. Puck is going to get the kill on Shadow Demon. Nice phase here, phasing out one of the stomp here from Aki. One thing I also want to point out, if you're looking at Aki right now, he does have He's max Waning Rift first, which is one of the rare time you actually do want to max Waning Rift. Both the spells, I'm talking about I'll talk about that later, as Puck's gonna move right back out. Both spells actually do the exact same amount of damage output between Waning Rift as well as Luge Orb. S4, just flirting with death, man. Korok with double damage, really burning him down. Meanwhile, Ammo comes in to help out as well. The Waning Rift has a longer cooldown, but you want to level it up against Storm Spirit simply because the duration of the silence goes up as well, which is very, very important in terms of killing Storm. That's why he leveled up right from the beginning.
No doubt, no doubt. Meanwhile, the unsung hero in this game for Team Liquid, Bulba, has his Midas up. The question is what will he go for, whether it be Treads or Shadow Blade. Most likely Shadow Blade, as sometimes Nature's Prophet choose to not upgrade boots. As meanwhile, a lot of teleports being used by no Tidehunter. They want to protect their towers because they know it'll get more difficult as this game goes on. But that means less gold for the supports. You can see EGM suffering quite a bit as Bulldog going to be caught out of position yet again. Searches on cooldown. Bulldog is not having a good time in this game thus far, as the Invisible Urn gonna make everything alright in this engagement as the Urn almost ticks off. Fluff gonna get soul captured as Fluff no mana to pop the heal, but Fluff should be okay. No, S4 decides to say something else about that. Will pick off Fluff. Illuminate is gonna find Korok, trying to find a Dream Coil. Does find one successfully, or has not used it just yet. Does use it in order to catch the call down damage as well. TC and Puck able to clean up two of the side of No Time in exchange for an Enchantress. And man, I don't know. Bulldog seems to put himself in very, very terrible situations in this game thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you caught the beginning of that engagement. Both the heroes saw a Viz rune in the river and they're racing towards it. So Darkseer pop his Surge, running towards it. And honestly, when you have Surge up as well as an Invis rune that you're about to pick up, you think you're safe. Unfortunately, Fluff immediately sent you a drop, a couple Impetus, and Enchant on top, and an Urn on top. So S4 took a lot more damage than you expect from a Enchantress at this point in the game. So shout out to Fluff for, playing his hero to perfection right there. But he ended up dying there as well. Armor Bulldog, by the way, one thing I do want to point out, you expect your Darkseer to be more farmed than this. He has Triangle, Soul Ring, and that's it. You expect at least a working towards a mech, or at least, at least a pipe, a hood attempt. He has nothing. So good job on TC shutting him down on bot lane.
Yeah, and again, one of the problems having a Chen in your lineup when you have a really strong jungler like Bulldog is where will Bulldog actually find his jungle, because Chen needs experience, otherwise he will just fall off the face of the earth in terms of the mid to late stages of the game, and that is going to negate a lot of Bulldog's farm. So No Timer not having the best of time. Load up, force to run the jungle as well, since the lane is very much pushed in favor of Bulba, as Bulba doing a nice job. I think he's been keeping creep equilibrium for the most part, as he is really keeping that lane stable. But meanwhile, in the midst of all that, EGM is going to take an orb right to the chin. He is going to get knocked out of the battle for the next 25 seconds. Meanwhile, Bulldog is going to get Dream Coiled. Call down is in place as well. Is just providing a little bit of extra firepower to clean that up, and Liquid coming in very, very powerfully, gonna be able to pick off this tier 1 tower and have a healthy 8 kill lead on No Timer. No Timer must be feeling a little bit shaken at this point.
Yeah, definitely so. And looks like, Loda is farming way. Keep in mind that he's got a very early Midas. He just picked up an armament. Just making sure we're still synced on time in terms of in-game time at 14:40, 41. Am I a bit ahead, or?
No, I think for the most part you were ahead, but I was constantly speeding up a little bit, so I think we're synced right now.
Okay, sounds good. Speaking of Midases, Nature's Prophet's got his Midas as well as 1k gold in the bank.
Speaking of Bulba, ganks happening abounds. TC not able to pop the Shadow Blade, or was there detection? No, I guess the Shadow Blade was just on cooldown. Bulba might be in range for an overload. S4 trying to get in position. Puck does manage to get sniped off. Loda with the Ion Shell as well as the Surge, just chasing down Bulba to the ends of the earth. Bulba traps himself in the trees of the Lifestone. Never a good situation, as Bulba was unfortunately brought down for Team Liquid. So it's going to be 11-5. No Timer taking down engagement 3-1, as a little bit of overextension by Team Liquid. IX Mike was not in position to drop Illuminates, I don't believe.
IX Mike was, IX Mike was nowhere near the fight. Fluff and stuff still jungling up. Here's the thing though, the Dire heroes overall, they use gold a lot better in this next stage of the game. You don't want to give Stormster suddenly 2 extra free kills or the assist gold of the kill. I do believe La Loda was in the middle of that fight, so he got a lot of EXP as well as assist gold there. So yeah, I feel like if Liquid wants to win this game, they gotta slow it down. I don't want to say they have the raw better late game, because Gyrocopter, again, as strong as powerful as a spell as Flat Cannon is, he's still very squishy. I think really Team Liquid's late game comes in for the multiple Cypher Vices on heroes like Puck, on heroes like the Prophet as well as Enchantress. So if this game go long enough, I feel like their intelligence-based hero could actually take the game late, which Doesn't sound like something you should ever say in a pub game.
But it definitely makes a lot of sense here. Lifesteal, one of his biggest downfalls is that he can get kited, so that could be a possibility, especially against hard-to-kill heroes like Puck. Nature's Pop with the Shadow Blade, Gyrocopter with that high base moon speed, and Puck gonna make it even more harder to escape from him as he is 5-1-4 with that dagger up and 1.2k gold in the bank to spare. Could work his way towards a Yule's, a Force Staff, an Orchid, whatever his heart desires. Korok will most likely make great usage of whatever that is. And S4 gonna have to be a bit careful as there is gonna be a blink Puck on his ass, and there is the silence. S4 never stood a chance as now.
Well, bot lane here, Fluff and Stuff also in big trouble. Here comes Open Wound, Test of Faith there as well. Fluff is going to go down. Buyback here from the Storm Spirit. And looks like they expect a fight to be breaking out. I think that was a very, very costly buyback. I'm not sure about that. They want Korok. Korok somehow, he always, oh no, he didn't even pop that invis in the last engagement. He just blinked in and got S4. And looks like he's ready to maybe even go for deny on that tower, but too dangerous against Luminous.
I don't know, it's Korok. You know, he does the unexpected as he's maneuvering himself into position. Team Liquid probably not gonna try to support this tower. This tower will get contested without Korok attempting to deny as Meon 2 teleport's going to come in. This top lane engagement about to get very, very messy as Korok, did he pop a silence to cancel some teleports? I was not watching that. I was watching the top lane instead, but Nature's probably able to clean off that tower. Did he happen to catch off if Korok cancels some teleports?
No, Korok right now
but
is
instead,
in big trouble, trying to orb out, but the silence is going to run out very soon. S4 is going to zip after, and Korok just feeds a kill, and I call that feed because his invis rune just ran out. I guess he was not paying attention. Silence does not cancel TP, so he would not have been able to do that.
Oh, I meant Dream Call, but it was still on cooldown anyway
CD,
from that gank on Storm Spirit that forced the buyback. But anyway, TC farming it up, has a Shadow Blade, has the Ogre Club, gonna go for straight BKB. Usually when Korok plays a Gyrocopter, he plays super greedy, but TC plays a bit more of a standard, you know, conservative Gyrocopter, and I don't think Team Liquid needs to take too many risks because now Bulba gonna start having impact as his Shadow Blade online as well, and no time to have one Situate has some dust on Admiral Bulldog, but again, Bulldog is suffering so hard. He has 2200 gold in bank. What do you think should be his item in this game? I guess Mech is probably the most obvious item, but Aki seems to have that covered. As Bulldog, what do you got? You're gonna go for the pipe instead.
And normally when one hero gets mech, the other hero gets pipe, but I'm not exactly sure how much pipe is going to help. Obviously, there's a lot of magical damage coming from the Radiant side, Wrath of Nature, all of Puck spells, but also the late game factor of Team Liquid is the multiple Scythe of Ice. So maybe you actually want to go for a little bit more teamfight oriented item, which pipe definitely fits the scenario. The thing is with the Darkseer's item choices, he's so one-dimensional, right? Aside from mech, pipe, maybe an Acceptor, maybe a very late game Scythe. What do you actually get on this hero? Like,
dude, the pub build Radiance Ion Shell does like 1 billion damage per second. God, think outside the box, man.
I do. I mean, that's what I do sometimes in pubs, but last time I checked.
TC Central has been popped as here comes the engagement as S4 on Loda able to clean him up. Nice Central placement by Loda? No, I guess it's just spare Central by S4. As meanwhile the bottom lane is going to get pushed. This is sort of the problem with the split pushing as Korok will be able to treat Loda no mana to use any of his spells as he doesn't even have a magic wand. I think in this game it would be very important for Loda to be constantly filled up in terms of mana because is there any arcane boots on his side just yet? There are not.
Not yet. Chen might eventually pick up one. Simply, he's a fairly decent mana intensive hero. Same thing here with the Shadow Demon. So right now, though, yeah, he definitely needs some mana. S4 working towards that Orchid, which again, very very key item to shut down the Puck, as well as Enchantress. But for now, he's fairly poor. That mid lane was not a welcoming sight to him. Let's check out the item choice here on the Radiant side.
I think I'm gonna have to call you back because getting a bit more.
Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. We are.
Yeah, gotta switch to that Raidcall or Mumble or anything with Skype, basically.
Skype not doing too well, but it's okay.
Yo, 3,000 miles may separate us, but they can't separate our hearts. That's all that matters.
Yep. Speaking of which, we will be seeing each other very, very soon in a LAN event.
For the first time ever. Man,
for the first time ever.
S4 spies Bulba. Oh, he has the dust, but...
And if he popped it, the dust would have been in range, but I guess he just didn't want to risk it.
I think he got fogged at the last instant and just figured that the movement speed would carry him out. But as it is, Bulba thanking his lucky stars as meanwhile TC clearing out the stack. Don't need no Helm of Dominator when you got IX Mike stacking for you, as IX Mike definitely has that undercover as he pops the mechanism as well. As TC gonna gain a lot of gold, gonna have his BKB after this stack is all said and done, and that is gonna be pretty important as the only spell that goes through BKB on the side no Tidehunter is actually the Purge, which doesn't, I mean, it matters to Gyrocopter, but still.
Yep. I was actually gonna make a joke about how TC dominated X Mike about a year back, but it's okay.
That was hilarious. I'm literally
I know, me too.
exploding in laughter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Korok has a quarterstaff, gonna go for the Orchid himself, saying, Storm, you may pick up an Orchid, but we're gonna get Silence on our side. I guess this is sort of a response into Fluff not going his trademark Orchid build, so they want a bit more Silence. And the more they can control the Storm, the better the team fight, and even their ganking potential will be. You still
Oh,
there?
sorry. Yeah, no, I thought you were going to say more than that. One thing I do want to point out is that here's the one thing. Oh my god, here comes a blind pushing Aki up the hill. TC's in the middle of everything, pops his BKB, and suddenly everybody's dying to TC. But S4's in the middle of the fight. S4 zipping around, perfect mono control, still not getting hit here. The rocket is going to eventually hit him. Is he going to be fine? Looks like the Aegis was used from the Lifestealer, and everybody on the Radiant side is on full retreat. Man, the Radiant jumped in trying to get that kill. Unfortunately, Loda's still charging in. There's a Ghost Scepter being used. Korok gotta get out of there. He's orbing, just getting out of there, but there's a jump in. Can we blink out? Can he blink out? It's getting close. Blink! No blink. You can blink out of Iron Shell, by the way, even if you're phased, but you gotta just have a perfect timing for it. And I guess he just messed up. One thing I was trying to point out before that Roshan engagement happened is that Chen is one of the few support heroes, and I do mean probably the only support hero that could start Roshan by himself and then let your carry join in. Most other time when you're doing Roshan, you need your carries to tank or whatever. Chen, does edge up on most other supports like that.
Those creeps are so damn tanky, as that was a desperately needed engagement for no time. Not only did they take down Puck, they took down Bulba, who for once in his life did not buy back, did not have the money. Otherwise, most assuredly, he probably would have bought back. As NTH actually didn't lose anybody, and the Purge went on Bulba, so that's how Bulba was picked off. But they did sacrifice an Aegis for that, but in my mind, that was completely worth it to delay, and also to waste that first instance of BKB by TC.
Yep. I mean, he did it, and he didn't die, and obviously he got a couple kills. So, money-wise, he was happy with how that gank went. But the thing is, S4, after that team fight, put him closer to that second Oblivion staff, and of course, ultimately the Orchid.
Krieger died somehow.
Krieger died. On which side? Of Dire?
Yeah, but I guess no
That's just
items.
flat cannon. That's not somehow. That's like common in every single fight. Where a courier is even near there, it'll just die. But actually, I want to point out Loda looking at his SMY build, which is, again, a lot of Chinese really favoring IG as well as LG, and they love their SMYs. And if you look at top lane, man, Storm is just waiting for Boba. That's why it's so difficult to play a good Nature's Prophet against a Storm, because if you ever think you're safe farming, you're wrong. That's where we'll find you.
As far as find you, he will hunt you down. That's why Bulba is staying very, very defensive, as he's approaching a bit, but not really enough to reveal himself. As me on the bottom lane, Bulldog gonna work his way towards the pipe. Should have his pipe up. Will have his pipe up. As here comes the rocket. Silence blinking by Korok. Will they use the Dream Coil? Not even necessary. They're gonna pop the mechanism as well. But there goes the cleanup. As here comes S4 with the help of Loda. But immediate Dream Coil response. S4 is silenced. S4 dies. Can he buy back? He will not. As here comes the net. Nice micro by Fluff as Loda gonna get kited as Bulldog does buy back. A nice vacuum wall will help to drive away Liquid, kill off Bulba, but still it costs them a lifesteal buyback and a Storm death. Bulldog bought back as well, and that is gonna be a very, very key victory for Liquid, because no time to regain themselves back in the game, but now lifesteal on silence for quite a bit, or he bought back, and that's gonna delay his next time. Bulldog caught in the net. Fluff's micro just really on top in this engagement, as Korok should be able to escape, and the Rain get a tower as well. Rain looking very, very sharp in that engagement.
Yeah, I mean, whatever little advantage that Notai got in that Roshan fight, they just threw it all away into the gutter as they spent it mostly on buyback. Good thing that the Storm didn't have go for buyback, because even if, well, maybe if he bought back, he would have been able to zip and pick off a couple more, but ultimately with 2 buybacks already used, I'm not sure if Notai could take this to the long game. I keep saying this is a long game, and obviously we don't have ultra late game heroes like Phantom Lancer or Spectre or anything like that, but again, I feel like Radiant just have options. Very, very good late game options with multiple scythes, and of course Gyrocopter is an ultra late game hero. If you get a Divine or whatever on him, he's gonna be packing heat. So again, I don't like the buyback from No Tide, not because it didn't work, but because it really delays their mid game win, and they need to win during the mid game.
And this is going to be the latest Orchid of S4's life. He is not having too much fun in this game as he is balling back and forth, but 4, 5, and 6. 5 deaths on a Storm. You know, with the puck picking up such an early dagger, that's understandable, but still not the most fun time as the dust is going to be popped just out of range of Bulba, as Bulba, once again, proving to be an absolute ninja as he's able to escape from the brink of very, very uncomfortable situations.
He's seen, he's attacking these creeps right now, and here comes the Zip S4 pulls, and that will cancel. He's got so good invis, but there's no dust. There's dust. He changed it to. Here comes the Boba again, and he sells sprouts. Can you eat into it? No, he does not. Infest for the AoE damage. So a whole bunch of things happened there. S4 passed the dust to Loda, thinking that it was on cooldown on him. Even if your dust is on cooldown and you pass it to your teammates, it will still be on cooldown. So not sure exactly why they did that, but unfortunately he needed a TP out there quick. He being the Nature's Prophet, unfortunately he attacked some creeps, and that was
you can tell Loda really did not want to use that Infest. It's such a long cooldown for, you know, a really powerful spell, but still not as game breaking as other ultimates. And Chen was picking up some really solid pushing creeps. He had the Command Aura creep, he had the Armor creep. That would give him a lot of extra pushing power, but as it is, they're going to be stopped until Loda regens his mana. But fortunately, S4, that will give him his gold for his Orchid, so May can provide some soul ganks on IX Mike. But as it is, IX Mike already very close to a 4-staff, and just continue to wear it up as he is just always on his side of the map, never taking any risks. And meanwhile, TC working his way towards a butterfly as Liquid starting to get their big items up very, very soon. And no Tidehunter, it might be bordering on the edges of being a little bit too late.
Yep. Also want to point out on IX Mike's build here, you can see that he's putting more points in Mana Leak.
Engagement up top. Fluff is going to be caught out of position. K teleport out. Disruption by EGM will make sure that he does not escape, as Fluff is going to get picked off. Korok going to use his illusion to scout it out all the while, as it's just going to be a 1-for-0 engagement. But again, all 5 heroes for No Time were involved. It looks like they might want to try to push it through the top lane, but no, they're going to think better of it. Just defend their other towers.
Yep. Was trying to point out IX Mike's decision to level up Mana Leak, which is perfectly a great decision, especially against a hero like Storm Threat. Before he gets BKB, you could leak on him, and sure, you know, when he's zipping, he doesn't care about the leak, but you're not always zipping as a Storm, so it really pushes on S4's buttons, and it's going to be tough for even the best Storm Threat players in the world to deal with a Mana Leak. You know, I always hear Blitz complaining about Mana Leak when he's playing Storm, and you know, let me say he's got a pretty good Storm.
You know, it's okay.
It's okay.
No, it's actually really good. But anyway, just looking at the overall net worth tab, Lifesteal dropped down quite a bit. It means that he's probably going to have an item shipped out to him very, very soon. It is going to be the Basher, and that is going to be key, especially once TC picks up the Butterfly. Even a chance of getting that Basher will just be so important, as you'll be able to right-click him down more effectively. But still, that Butterfly will be an option, as it's going to be pretty difficult to kill DC with that BKB on, with the Butterfly finished.
Yep. Speaking of TC here, he's got the Eagle Song just for now, almost close to that Butterfly, stacking those Ancients or working at Ancients. Ancients, by the way, a very non-exploitable part of the Chinese metagame. The Americans, as well as the Europeans, definitely making sure they're stacking and taking their own Ancients whenever they can.
Oh, Flying Vision, will that be seeing Korok?
I don't think so. Oh my god, Korok! What the hell is this?
Yo, next level. Korok is, you know, Team Liquid is just a team of ninjas, as they manage to always escape from the worst situations. Korok may have pressed his luck, as he is definitely gonna get picked off here. He is on the silence for 68 seconds. No buyback, as he just bought that Mystic Staff. This is prime opportunity for No Time to get a tier 2, maybe push into tier 3, not get a Rax, but at least consider Liquid from not applying so much pressure all over the map. But yeah,
Loda's going to solo pressure that. If they eat a buyback, obviously they don't know that he doesn't have buyback, but if they eat a buyback, they'll be happy for that as well.
Meanwhile, Bulba just clearing out creep waves, and No Tidehunter not going to pressure this tier 2. I think they're fearing the buyback a bit too much. Korok, I think they figured that Korok did not spend any gold for quite a bit, so they're just saying, oh, he must have a buyback. But just a little bit of mind games right there, as Korok will respawn 20 seconds, and he will be back in full force, as, you know, even the best ninjas always slip off.
And well, ninjas do make mistakes. Loda going on the mid lane here, trying to at least work on a tier 2. I feel like I'm not sure what No Tie's direction of the game is going to be in the next couple of minutes. They obviously have very impactful game items if they want to take team fight. They have the mech, they have the pipe, and here comes the Ancient Steel. But it doesn't feel like they have that overwhelming advantage, at least enough advantage to, let's say, take a 5v5 fight in front of Team Liquid's tier 2. So I'm not sure exactly what No Tie's trying to do. Do you have any guess what their game plan is for the next 5-10 minutes? Are they just waiting for the Aegis?
Stall for rush. Just try to get some map control, stall for rush, and
Looks like the
maybe
gank
get some,
attempt.
yeah, get some
Top
wards
lane.
up as top lane. Korok gonna get the silence off, as well as the Hex coming in from Bulba, as that was something I failed to look out for. Bulba with the Hex, and suddenly, no Tidehunter gonna be a bit more careful, as now they pretty much always have to roam as 5, and that just enables split pushing even more, because they don't have a BKB up on Storm, and it's not going to be online for quite a bit. Even if S4 decides to rush it at this stage, it won't be online till about 2,500 gold.
Yeah, here comes Puck dropping a silence. A couple hero TC just doing all the damage he can in the world. But here comes Loda. Look at he just removing TC's HP. TC on the back line trying to do some damage. IX Mike, huge illuminate. Stormstar zips in here for a kill. Works on TC. TC's gonna be dead. He goes on IX Mike. IX Mike cannot survive him against either. No Mana League was dropped. And Loda is still tanking. Now Fluff is also gonna go down. Triple kill from S4 after a buyback. Keep in mind that he was dead on that top engagement. And suddenly, No Tide right back in this game. Like I said, they have the team fight items to take advantage of it. And a good thing they was able to initiate in a very favorable position, and they are gonna get that Aegis. And this game, it's really swinging back and forth. If nothing goes wrong for Team Liquid, they have it late. But well, that considered as something went wrong. What happened mid?
Bulldog with the perfect pipe usage. That wall screwed everything up, and really, our Bulldog was the MVP of that fight, as unfortunately S4 was forced to buy back, but it was completely worth it. And if he picks up an Aegis right here, I think they just should go on him. The only reason why I didn't go on him in the last fight, no, Loda is going to pick it up yet again, and I don't know if this is the best idea considering S4 does not have the BKB. Maybe they're going to try to farm the BKB before they decide to push in, but as is, Loda, it's not like he doesn't do much DPS. He does so much DPS. But usually when you have an Aegis up on Storm, it means he can be so much more aggressive. But maybe NTH just don't want to be aggressive.
I feel like I agree completely by Storm having Aegis. It's going to allow him to be aggressive, but perhaps because there is a Scythe of Ice as well as a Puck Blink or Get Up, as we see this Puck in a little bit of trouble, is trying to fight this, but there's the Abyssal. Or is that just a bash? No, that was Abyssal activation, and that means the Puck's going to be dead. Because it's so easily to pick him off in like random farming scenarios, if he's off the lane, you can see the Puck and Boba just go in for that free kill. The Aegis is maybe a waste on him. Now, obviously, that could happen the exact same way to an Lifestealer as well, but Loda's just that much tankier, he's that much quicker, and he could probably even fight back after the Scythe is done. So, I don't, love the decision to put it on the Lifestealer instead of the Storm, but I don't dislike it either.
Yep, as unfortunately for No Tidehunter, they're going to have to deal with the Butterfly, which they currently have no means of countering. They have to venture up close and personal to pop that Abyssal to go through the BKB. But as it is, Keeper of the Light, showing why he is perhaps the most annoying hero in the game.
Boba ninjaing back and forth, dodging a couple of zips here, but the third Storm Zip will find him. Storm TPing in the bot lane, Loda infesting in, Storm zips across the map, popping a dust, and that dust will find you.
Bulba buys back, as he was not really that close to any big items, so not the worst buyback. I mean, he might have been out to get a BKB recipe, but that's pretty much it, as even that was not completely guaranteed, so not the worst buyback right there. And also allows No Tidehunter to say, hey, where are we supposed to push? And Wrath of Nature will come in, Bulba will come in, and just completely deny No Tidehunter for split pushing, because if they decide to push in, they're going to lose tier 2s. And they definitely do not want to lose that against the Nature's Prophet when the game looks like it is going late.
Boba buying back? No, that never happens.
Never. I've never seen that in my life. You are just completely making that up. But meanwhile, Korok, saving up a lot of gold. He should have his Scythe of Vice up if he chooses to do so. But obviously, no, he doesn't have buyback either. So Scythe of Vice should be on its way, as he just managed to pick up enough gold for that. As there's going to be a surge forward by Loda, as Korok easily able to escape. But S4 gonna be like a shark in the water, hunt down Korok, blinding light come in from IX Mike, and here comes the DPS by Fluff. Orchid just getting S4 complete nightmares. Manalik also providing so much utility. S4 is getting bursted down, he has no buyback. Fluff is gonna be the casualty for Team Liquid, as well as Korok. Vacuum Ball also placed in not the best position, but is gonna cough reinforcements from teleporting back in. As here comes Loda trying to send or trying to sniff out Bulba. Bulba just traps in the tree saying, what are you going to do about this? As Mana Leak, once again, showing its usefulness as a spell. Man, is there anything that Keeper Light can't do?
Well, here comes Lola. He turns race. He's raged. He wants to focus on Axma. Huge vacuum bringing him back, but he gets picked off as well. TC's now fighting against Loda. Keep in mind that Loda has the Aegis. Aki's on the run. He pops the Ghost Scepter, but here comes Lifestealer. It's going to be back, and with the Sprout. Yes, the Sprout gets him in, and Boba, perfect Sprout. He finds Aki. Aki's dead. Boba gets bashed. One hit bash, two hit bash. There's a Scythe Vice here. Loda still fighting up here. TC. Rage, right click. He's going to try to get the bash. He does not have the mana anymore.
These evades.
Wow. Both teams have multiple ways to get away from each other. And I gotta say, both teams play rather well, but I think Team Liquid came ahead, being able to take away 4 kills and the Aegis. Just a exchange of 3 deaths, I believe, right?
Man, TC evaded so much damage with that butterfly. He evaded at least 600 worth of damage. Like, not even from that last engagement, or not even from that lifesteal hitting him, but also just random points of damage, as that butterfly definitely paying for itself and allowed TC to just stick in the battle, get so much experience, and that is going to go a long way in terms of fueling Gyrocopter's next big item. As what does the courier have in store for him? It's going to be a Demon Edge, and now TC has got to be a force to be reckoned with on the map. Not that he wasn't before, but he's going to be even more scared, and now Tier 2 has fallen, albeit it was denied, but that is going to open up the map even more for Team Liquid. And the fact that S4, he's been dying quite a bit, not able to pick up BKB, not even committing to anything just yet, because he knows how important his presence is. He needs to have that buyback online, but still, the lack of BKB and the other buybacks definitely coming to hurt him at this stage in the game.
Yep, EGM finds himself a pretty decent sized wave, and that's going to put him, well, no, he's going to give it to S4. I was going to say, he may be able to get some big items, like a drums for the team, but S4 says, nope. Pass it to me. S4, by the way, needs that blocking bar desperately. We see both the solo mids in those engagements, they're just orchiding each other hard. Now, Puck obviously won't be going for the BKB, but he's going to be going for the Scythe of Ice, in which case, even if he's orchided, he will still be helpful to the team. And obviously, S4 needs to pop BKB. Here comes a big zip here. They see Orchid Bears. There's a Scythe. S4 jumps in. He gets defensively disrupted by EGM, but is he going to survive through that? No, he will not. EGM just dies to Puck as well, and Aki being caught out. Wow, suddenly 3 free kills, I have to say, being picked up by Liquid, and they're going to lose Tier 2. On top of that, I'm not exactly sure what the 3 supports or Storm and the 2 supports think they could have done.
Well, I mean, there was no vision. But also, Team Liquid were smoked up, so that was another sort of extra insurance, and TH just got completely blindsided, and as it is, Storm Spirit does have buyback ready, but again, if he has to use buyback now, it's just going to be so crushing for him, as he is just going to be denied 1,200 more gold, and that's not even guaranteed. But here comes Wall. It's going to delay the push.
Well, I'm not sure if it will. TC says don't fucking care. Walks in right now, and Law the Race Hero, they're just sending in a perfect ranged position, but they need a vacuum button. No! Blink Hex here against Amro. Amro losing all of his mana. Right click. He's dead. Stormstorm zips in after buyback. Focuses on Ix. Mike now goes on Korok. Does he have enough mana? There's a tiny zip.
Dota manning up against TC all the while, as S4 is getting completely bullied by the supports. Loda unable to catch anybody. He's being kited relentlessly. It's going to be a 1 for a buy, complete worth for Liquid. No, Puck does manage to get picked off. I don't know what Puck was doing there.
Yeah, Puck trying to survive against Storm, but that wall was so awkward. They ultimately forced out a buyback from the Storm Spirit, and Amro dying and still buying back. They, again, defended the racks, quote-unquote won the fight, but it felt more or less like a Pyrrhic victory, as they put so much resource into that defense that I'm not even sure if it was ultimately worth it. Sure, saving your racks is all good, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, keep in mind, Liquid took down 2 towers, took down a Tier 3 and a Tier 2. But as it is, no time to still have an option, because TC is definitely evading so much damage. But if Loda picks up that MKB, which he should be able to do with the next purchase, if you manage to get the Roshan Aegis up on Storm or Cheese or any of those items, sell the Midas for one of those slots, Loda will just be unhandleable in these team fights, in my opinion. I mean, Ghost Scepter already giving him a lot of difficulty, but he can focus on TC, which is so much of the physical DPS on the side Team Liquid, even though there is an Enchantress who has a Scythe of Vice herself.
Bulldog.
And speak of the devil, Scythe of Vice by Fluff, Bulldog. Man, Bulldog is just being caught out relentlessly, as this is the power of a global lineup.
Yeah, and this is a power lineup that has multiple Scythe of Vice here. 2 already up, and of course you know that Puck already have that Mystic Staff. Yeah, Korok's been playing I don't want to say he's playing bad, but it's just so many ways to actually lock him down. So it seems like he's playing bad because he's been dying a lot more than he usually does. Orchid is just a very, very good way to deal with, normally a very squishy hero. that is dependent on his skill to survive. But for now, again, Dire has the issue of dealing against 3 Cyber Vice. But in between Storm Spirit and initiating Loda, well, they see Boba, and Boba, he'd be dead.
Yep, Gem means that Bulba is going to make a quick departure. Does he have buyback? No, he does not, unfortunately for him.
He would have used it by now.
Definitely. But yeah, just 300 gold shy. And of course, that is going to mean that he's going to be on silence for the next 80 seconds. And that won't be in time for the next Roshan to respawn, unfortunately for NTH. But meanwhile, Storm did pick up the gem. Again, going to delay the BK purchase. Probably got the gem transferred to him or something like that. But man, this Storm has made no progression past the 25-minute mark, literally, as he picked up that Orchid around the 25-minute mark.
Well, he's look at the way that he's jungling. He's trying to drop remnants, not only check for sight, but across the river as well. If he sees like a support somewhere, yeah, he finally saw that ward, gonna de-ward it. So that's the other benefit of Gem that we see a lot of players, especially in pub games, never take advantage of, is de-warding the other side's wards. But obviously there's no wards in pub, so I take that back.
Dude, have you not looked at the games we've queued in recently? They ward relentlessly.
No, yeah, the games that we kill, obviously, all right. They not only do they ward the river, they ward your ancient camps at minute 1.
If they could throw a ward on your hero, they would.
Right, that would be pretty OP. But I have to say, in 99% of Dota games, no wards.
Anyway, Korok had an item shift towards him. It is going to be that Morbid Mask. He is going all out, not saving for buyback. Guess he does not plan on taking any fights, but the Roshan is going to respawn relatively soon. And if Team Liquid gets wiped here, Korok will be out of the picture. Bulba closing in on buyback. I imagine Bulba will have buyback before the Roshan responds. But NTH still have openings. They still have options. They still have a Darkseer. They still have an incredibly farm Lifesteal that TC now doesn't really have that evasion to rely on, and still does not care about hexes or silences if the rage is on. Of course, he can do that before he rages and really burst him down. But as it is, he has 2600 HP and 17 armor. He is going to be pretty difficult to kill, but the key is just to kite him like Team Liquid has been doing.
Lotus sells his Midas thinking that he'll get the Aegis. Now, if he gets the Aegis, that's fine, but he's losing a lot of attack speed working on this Aegis, and now Loda gotta walk out the other way. Gotta be very careful about the positioning of Team Liquid because they have so much initiation. Here we go, Boba sending those straight into Scout, and suddenly Loda may be feeling a little bit of regret selling that Midas. As I say that though, he goes into S4. S4 zips in right now. There's the focus on Korra. Huge vacuum wall on top of 5. But here's the call down. Stormster is still zipping to the back line. S4 out of mana at this point. He's gonna be dead for sure. Yep, he is. But where's Loda in the middle of this? Loda, is he dead? Yes, he is. He's bought back there as well. How will he rejoin the fight? That's the question. EGM's gonna get focused down on the Romanian team fight. And suddenly, this team fight just looked like a big throw.
That was such beautiful coordination by Liquid. Did you see what happened? As soon as Loda popped out, he got hexed. He couldn't even pop rage. That was such perfect timing by Liquid.
That seems to be the mistake of Loda then.
Yeah,
right?
But still, I mean, the instant you pop out, I'm sure you're spamming that Q button. But, I mean, just...
I mean, as quick as you could click Scythe and click... That's 2 clicks on an enemy hero. Whereas Rage has instant click, but he's going to pick off TC, and that might be able to actually defend Korok in big trouble as well. He loses his Aegis, and he's going to get surrounded, but there's a Scythe right on Fluff, or Fluff using the Scythe. Fluff says, alright, I don't want to take that fight, I'll back out. Korok gets a silence and Orchid. Is he going to blink out? He's blinking to the right. S4, does he know? No, S4 guesses wrong, and Korok will make it out alive. This game, lots of ninjaing.
Seriously. As, yeah, Loda was getting kited quite relentlessly during that fight. Nice vacuum wall. But still, TC was definitely the MVP of that fight. Blackhand just ripped through the side of NTH despite that nice vacuum wall setup. And again, the fact that Loda didn't pop rage definitely hurt him. As he did have buyback. I didn't think he had buyback, but I guess the Midas gave him just enough. And that is going to help defend the racks like you mentioned. But Liquid still looking very scary. Bulba with the 9-second BKB charge. TC has the 5-second, but he's going to start making way towards Satanic. If he picks up Satanic, that's pretty much an Aegis right there.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Unless he's hitting illusions, which you cannot lifesteal from, and there's not much illusions on the map anyways. He is going to be not only killing everybody, he's also going to be unkillable. Fluff and stuff picks up a Blink Dagger. We're going to see a Blink Chantress. I've not done this for years in pub games, but...
you see a Chantress, you see the impetus and then Blink backwards?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go, 400.
Now, obviously, that's not what he's going to be doing in this game. He's going to be using it mostly as an initiation item. Now he's suddenly not dealing with a Blink Puck or a global TP from and a Cypher Vice from Boba, but more importantly, dealing with the Blink, another Blink Hex combo from Enchantress herself. So No matter where Loda is, they will find you, and if you don't spam that rage button, they will hex you and kill you very quickly.
S4 has finally picked up an Ogre Club, so he's made something. But still, just look at the item disparity on side 9TH. Load is farmed, but the rest, not so much. EGM has a Ghost Scepter, which is going to be useful. Ghost Scepter up on Aki, again, useful. But looking at the supports on Liquid, as
I
Korok
see
might
Korra.
find himself in a bit of a sticky situation, the Remnant is going to spiral out. They are going to shade with the Silence. Korok is going to get picked off before the battle begins. Who got Menelik? It is going to be Storm. That's going to prevent Zips from coming in. Lifesteal does clean up Keep for the Light. TC's going to get Abyssal in place, pops the cheese, which he did have in his back pocket. A little bit of a healthy snack just to get you fueled up for the next fight as S4 is going to get disrupted. Nicely done by EGM. Can he escape? He does do so successfully. Nice engagement thus far by NTH. Are they going to go back from seconds? I don't think that is going to be the prime choice. And they're going to back off by NTH, showing that they still have a lot of bite left in them.
The biggest item pickup, in my opinion, there was Admiral Bulldog with his Blink Dagger. So we saw Storm Spirit as well as Lifestealer invested in him zip in against Korok. The entire Liquid team reacted and tried to help out the solo mid. Unfortunately, Admiral Bulldog blinked in, dropped wall and vacuum on top of everybody. And not only was Puck just picked off in the middle of the team fight, it really allowed the Loda to start transitioning to work on TC. TC though, he is still surviving these fights. Obviously, having a cheese is a little bit of a abnormality.
It's unexpected.
Unexpected.
Or no, it's just not guaranteed. I don't know. Very. God, your shininess is rubbing off on me because I am forgetting words that I should know. As S4 does manage to get a regen from
That's SAT, bro.
SAT. God. Yo, I did mad good in SATs. Don't hate.
Yo, did you get 2400?
Nah, dude. Almost.
Almost, really?
Pretty close.
Is that like 1800 pretty close or 2350 pretty close or
2280.
Shit, man. You smart.
Yo, dude.
I did not get 2280 in my SAT.
It's okay. You aced the math because you're a math teacher.
That's right. I didn't even ace the math, but don't worry about it. Let's check out how we're doing in terms of difference of gold. Radiant is leading. Again, we talked about the late game item choices that's available to the Radiant team. Now the goal lead is definitely in their pocket as well. But being the fact that the game is so close, if you lose a team fight, it don't matter how much goal lead you have, you'll start losing buildings and reactors. It looks like the Dire team is doing a big smoke, and they're saying, well, the last one worked out fine. Let's do another one. More Infest bombs. This Infest combo on Storm Spirit, it's just working out so well. But I'm absolutely certain that Team Liquid knows. You can see they're just backing off to the tier 2. It's so obvious when there is a big creep wave down the mid lane in front of the tower like this in the mid, and there's nobody defending this. So Team Liquid moving as a pack. Boba.
That pause. Door. As I'm sure you'll be back in a couple of seconds. Just taking this time, look at the experience in Gold Graph. It's been at very difficult points for NTH to come back from, but they always find a way to come back as they are making this game super competitive. 10k gold lead. It's pretty big, but
it doesn't feel
again,
like it, right?
It's mostly just on the supports, I feel like, because the carries, or Loda, at least, is very farmed. S4, not so much. Well, Bulldog is actually pretty farmed as well. And if he picks up something like an Aghanims, or even, a Hex, which probably would be the optimal choice here, he could be a huge unexpected factor for Team Liquid to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the difference in terms of the gold graph was also explained like the 3 or 4 buybacks that the carries in between Storm, Lifestealer, and Admiral Bulldog used throughout the game. So obviously Liquid, because they're choosing the fights in front of the enemy towers, they never really had to buy back aside from Boba. So that makes up for this big lead that Liquid has is not as big as the lead, and the game really doesn't feel like the Dire is losing out by that much. But again, 3 Scythe of Ice. I've not seen a team that has Scythe of Ice lead like this lose. So that's something.
Oh, hopefully S4 can pick up his BKB soon, because 10-second BKB gonna be very important. But still, at this stage of the game, without any extra damage, Storm Spirit does do a lot of damage. He's level 24, so actually that's sort of hurting him a bit more, because that's spending more money on buyback. So I mean, the levels are really cool and all, but if you don't have the items to back it up, it might just be a bit of a hindrance. But still, get that extra bit of stats, definitely going to be useful. As the smoke attempt has been abandoned, Liquid just going to all rotate top, stay together, make sure they are not clumped up. And they really can't be clumped up because Korok no buyback, Fluff no buyback. TC does have buyback up on Bulba and Ike, but still, they don't want to lose anybody in this next engagement. Otherwise, I mean, Lifestealer, as it is just hitting so hard that you can just lose people very quickly.
Yeah, especially like, if you don't get a quick sacrifice on him after the rage and he gets a couple more hits off, then he gets into rage again. Yeah, that's when you get into very dangerous territory. But obviously, yeah, the liquid guys are very, very good, so I don't expect that to be happening. Also, TC, I mean, he's always in the middle of the fight thanks to his BKB and do a ton of damage. I really want to see the No Tai team put a little bit more extra effort in terms of picking him off. I feel like if you could remove Gyro somehow in the middle of the team fight before the team fight actually breaks out, like gank him off, whatever the case is, then the game is totally different. But TC's positioning has been so good that he never really gets picked off.
Yeah, as soon as anybody gets close, blinding light, force staff, hexes
Yep,
up
yep.
everywhere. It means that TC is just having a grand old time in this game. 9-4-15, but still 4 deaths on Gyrocopter 15 minutes in. Pretty remarkable considering there are in fact, God, 61 kills at 50 minutes. Pretty
Storm bombs.
respectable.
Yeah, storm bombs is the big thing here. You can see that Storm Spirit still working towards that BKB, saving for buyback. That's what is going to be really putting it, just make sure that he doesn't lose the game by dying there. Team Liquid, they're playing rather safe. They don't know if the enemy team is smoked up, so they're backing off accordingly. In fact, no Tidehunter is saying, we'll go towards the Ancients.
Yeah, Bulba playing a lot more conservative. Again, that vision being stifled by a gem definitely paying off for No Time to thus far. As you can see on the bottom portion of the map, No Time to definitely have all the vision in the word. Meanwhile, Liquid, not so much vision on their side, but the fact that they have towers up is helping them out so much at this stage. As Sport just going to farm the jungle, and then he finds mud golems.
But the important thing is that he's farming the enemy jungle. Here, he's actually taking advantage of the very, very slow push. Now, a lot of other lesser-known teams, they just would have waited in front of the territory and saying, "Oh, we're going to defend this." No, Tidehunter will still be able to defend the base, but was able to eke out at least 100 or 200 gold from the extra jungle, as well as Loda obviously pushing and farming the bot wave. So, because the lack of vision on Team Liquid, because there's a gem on No Tidehunter, they were able to get more farm. And Stormster doesn't even have to TB back until the fight even breaks out, so he could put more pressure on the bot. Didn't block his jungle after the clearing it, and after the minute mark, he gets more and more farm. So yes, they're down, but they're definitely not out, especially when smart farming tactic like this. This really reminds me of Eternal Envy. Again, I'm not saying I will credit him with all the stuff, but this is how Eternal Envy harps on me when I play pubs with him. Go farm jungle now. Go farm mutes. Farm their jungle. No, not our jungle. Farm theirs. It's going to be safer. We can still TP back in defend, and that's exactly what we saw out of No Tide.
I was about to say, Loda holding on to 5.8k gold, goes all out, no buyback with the AC. What do you think about this move? It's obviously very useful. The armor going to be very significant against TC, and also the minus armor against TC going to be very useful. But still, I don't know. Hex Heart I think would be a bit better because I don't think they're pushing it anytime soon. So I'm thinking, in terms of helping the Leicester survive, Heart would be more useful. In terms of locking down the hero, Hex would be more useful. So AC, obviously a really strong item for the team, but is the team really that important? It's just sort of Loda. And
well, I mean, he is the team, right? If he gets the attack speed, all he really cares about is own attack speed. So I'm not sure how much it's going to help the team, but I agree with you. I don't particularly like this item choice.
I mean, it's never a bad idea to get AC, but when you're capped out, it's sort of... Well, I mean, you can sell the SNY, I guess.
Well, the team fight is going to break out. I don't like the for the fact that he doesn't have buyback. Here we go. He gets Hex, and what is AC going to do? Give you a little bit extra armor. Here comes Blink. Here comes the wall up top as well, but Boba has his BKB now. S4 getting focused. S4 losing a lot of HP, zipping back and forth. He's going to lose his fight.
TC getting locked down. TC getting locked down. The Dreamcoat is holding Bulldog in place. EGM is going to get hexed up by Korok. Korok doing so much work, but Loda just carrying his team into this game. Picks off IX like the gem has been dropped, and now the pursuit is on for Bulba. I don't know if they have a gem left in them. No, they do not. Fluff going to try and get the hex off. They're going to say, Loda, you're too much for us at this stage, as Bulba gonna get away in the nick of time. As TC, the unfortunate thing about Gyrocopters, even though he has 1,000 range, you do have to venture up to that 350 range in order to get that shot off. And like you said, once they focused on TC, pretty much all the team fight potential of Liquid just went out the door.
Yeah, I mean, TC in the middle, you assume he's gonna be the biggest and baddest ass person. Does that even make sense? He has to stand in the middle of the fight and start really split-shotting everybody. Unfortunately, Loda was able to isolate him. He was even scythed up early on. Loda, maybe it was the Assault Carriers. He was able to tank the initial barrage, and after he was out of the Scythe form, he just pressed Rage, pressed the Abyssal Blade button on TC, and just went to work. Obviously, as the Monkey King bar, nullifying any type of evasion that the Butterfly might have granted. So very, very big win here for No Tide. Gets up the Aegis and Cheese as well. I mean, 10,000 gold lead be damned if you just focus on TC. The game is very well within reach.
Unfortunate for no Tidehunter, S4 once again was killed. He did have the BKB. He used the BKB. I did not even notice that. I figured he was saving for buyback, but still, a good decision by S4. Definitely, I think, helped prolonged his life. Was it used? It was used, so it prolonged his life, but TC again doing so much damage. And TC, I think he just recently purchased up the Satanic, so this could be another factor, and that might just prove to be a bit more troublesome for no time, because even though they performed remarkably well in that team fight, they still, it was like a 3 for 4, so it's not
Three
the
for
biggest
four.
wipe.
Yeah, it's not the biggest win, but they got the Aegis and Cheese out of it. They defended their towers, and they got more farm out of it as well. It's definitely a big, nice win. They need a couple more than that. Stormster now has a Cheese as well, which is a big thing because considering that all these team fights, because he's Mana Leak, because he has to zip in to initiate, he's running out of mana. So S4, not exactly having the best game, 12, 10, and 17, but having a huge impact, irreplaceable impact in this game nonetheless.
And Bulldog picking up a very smart item, knows that the BKB on TC 5 seconds, and he doesn't have med style, so hey, Heaven's Halberd. Pretty smart item against TC in this case, and TC, you know, gyrocopters get Manta for a reason, and I guess in this game, it might come back to hurt him, but still, he's just doing so much work that you can't really blame him with that build that he's going for. But I think it might be soon time to part ways with that Shadow Blade.
I mean, it's just extra layers of insurance they have in Cyberpunk because you want to actually get a Abyssal Blast on him always, but you know that doesn't happen. So the Heaven's Halberg's not a bad way to at least force him to pop that BKB, whatever the case is. Obviously, the evasions and the stats is not a bad thing. Stormstrait looking for heroes, popping the haste. You can see that he's dropping the Remnant just for the AoE flying vision. But Team Liquid says, we'll be waiting for you in front of our base. Come find us here.
And look at the net worth. I mean, Dota is miles ahead, but I mean, Team Liquid have the next 3 highest net worth, and Bulba is actually ridiculously farmed. Didn't actually die in the sauce engagement, so that means he has buyback ready, and he's just going to start farming up. Bulba is going to be the true carry for Liquid, I feel like, in this game, as he's going to start split pushing, going on the top lane. And the question is, does Liquid want to defend their tier 2? It does not look like they particularly desire to do so, as they're going to use a glyph, but I don't think they're going to get in position, as they're just going to buy time for Bulba to try to get the pressure and force the TP, and just waste the time with Aegis.
Yeah, I just want to say how admirably Admiral and his team's been playing, down by 10,000 goals, still leading the charge. Of course, Nature's Prophet, scummy Nature's Prophet, is going to be doing split push, but they found Korok! They picked off Korok instantly in the jungle. And I do believe they could just push right off this, but Boba says, alright, if you're going to push, we will backdoor EGM TP's in and trying to defend this. He can defend this by himself, got to focus on the siege unit, and the rest of the team is coming back. There's a lot of farm they would be missing out on the bot lane as well. Nobody has a teleport scroll? Really? Yes, nobody does.
Well,
because
they're all capped out for the
yeah,
most
they're
part,
capped
except
out,
for the sports.
not capped out enough to go booty travel just yet for some of these heroes. So they did lose a tier 3 tower on top. They did lose a tier 2 tower on the bottom. So Team Liquid, despite losing their own tier 2, not exactly in the worst shape.
Definitely not, as Korok pretty much has all the MC needs. It's a bit worrying that he's getting constantly picked up because that means he's going to be dead for a while. But still, he has all the MC possibly needs at this stage. But UGM definitely going to appreciate this time to farm up. If he manages to get something like a Hex, you know, that'll be probably the greatest performance by a Shouty I've seen in a long time, as Aki has the Ghost Scepter mechanism. No item progression, just warding it up, and you can see the wards on the map. No time to have a lot of map control, but the towers just really keeping Liquid in terms, or in the game in terms of map control themselves.
Well, Shadow Demon looks like he's going to be upgrading to Boots of Travels. Not a bad way to, especially considering that this game is getting bigger and bigger when Nature's Prophet will be backdooring. I personally, I think maybe going for a Gold Scepter is a little bit more important. Oh no, he does have one. JK, so...
Yeah, he's had it for a while.
Okay. And that, by the way, is when you're playing support against a Gyrocopter, try to get a Ghost as soon as you can, because, you know, you'll just die flat out with that one.
Die flat out.
uh,
I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody who just listened to that as for just gonna take this time to farm up. The Aegis is gonna time, but at least they still have the cheese. And TC, Satanic, he has buyback as well soon. So this is just both teams not letting to make a mistake. No time to realize the gravity of this game, and they're not in the worst position. They're not leading, but I don't think they're too far behind this game. And it's not like S4 doesn't have too much room to grow. He has a lot of room to grow in terms of his item skills. Even Bulldog can upgrade his boots, can pick up an Aghanim with the Aegis being gone. No time to definitely have a lot of item spots to grow in terms of this game.
Yeah, but can't talk about that right now as No Ties looking for the win. This could be a huge team fight here. Both teams, again, 35 to 33, and they're going to try to push up the hill. They've been winning most of the team fights lately. Get called out in the front. Big blinding light there as well. That's 80% miss chance. Admiral's got to be very, very careful about his positioning. If they scythe him up, they're losing a lot of teamfight power, but he looks like he does not care. He's actually losing a lot of HP. Where's the scythe on him? Doesn't need it. He has the Aegis. Gonna focus Loda. Loda bashing people up here. Gets second scythe on him. Where is this rage? He's getting Orchid. He's dead. He does not have buyback. No, he does, but he can't join the fight. No, he can. He does have Breach of Travel. Admiral Bulldog being focused a second time here. He's trying to survive. He's using his Soul Scepter. He gets picked off. Where was Loda? Oh, Loda gets silenced and... Wait, he's just flat out dead. No, S4 comes in. TC is going to get picked off. He gets 4-staff up. He's shadow played up. He's fine. No, he does actually get up going down. S4 is going to get picked off.
Loda died. No buyback. This is brutal.
Everybody in the game buying back except Loda because he bought back just now. And the entire Team Liquid team is going to charge across the map. I think they thrown here.
I think they can, because so much of the value on the side of Tidehunter was basically on Loda. Loda was maxed out, everybody else not so much. And meanwhile, everybody on the side of Liquid is back up and running at full speed. I mean, Tidehunter, they don't even have the glyph in place. They're going to lose at the very least 3 racks. And probably the throne as well, as just in the span of one instant. I don't know, Bulldog's wall was just really, really awkwardly placed, but that could also be a product of the Liquid positioning, just forcing the wall at a very awkward place, as S4 gonna get blinked, hexed, orchided, he's gonna die, no buyback, Bulldog gonna get silenced, mana leak up, and everybody's dead, and this is gonna be GG.
He got sent back to the base by the sent back ability of Chen, but Fluff and Stuff's Impetus just followed and it did humongous amount of damage, so Blink Petus winning the game.
So, let me, what went wrong in that team fight? Was it the wall? Was it the fact that Lodo was never able to hit anything? That was probably the biggest factor, but still.
It was a combination of things. I really dislike the way that they used the Aegis on Admiral Bulldog. Sure, tanky in front was fine, but the Radiant team wasn't ever punished for hitting Admiral, and I don't think you can use the Aegis like that, especially how close these team fights went. Also, I felt like I don't like the decision of Loda outside of the Storm Spirit hitting the base. Yeah, sure, he was able to knock down the base tower, but the way that No Tidehunter was winning fight was Storm zipping the life steal in, locking down TC, and making sure he never got any right click off. I felt like that was the only way they could win those team fights. That didn't happen then. The buyback came from Lifestealer, and he tried to join a team fight again, but without Storm helping him initiating, he doesn't have that mobility. Multiple Scythe, multiple Orchid prevented him from doing anything. I think the buyback was obviously correct, but he should not have TP'd in. And a lot of things went wrong in that team fight, and, well, they paid a heavy price.
Yep, as Team Liquid gonna tie up the series to 1-1. I'll probably bring you the third game as well. But as usual, thanks for watching. Any last words, Lonnie?
Nope, thanks for having me. A great series so far, exciting games, and, well, I won't be here for casting for Game 3, but hopefully the viewers are enjoying it so far.
Yep, definitely. As No Tidehunter on the brink of getting eliminated from this huge season beyond Liquid. One step closer to securing themselves a spot, so we will see you next time. Peace.